I need to get a drink. There we go.
All right, looks like we are live. All right, so this is an exciting day. Hey, everybody, my name is Chris Chessar, and I am with Cindy Branson today, and we are going to build out our first funnel inside and an email sequence. We're going to connect it, build our first sales funnel or website, whatever you want to call it, and then connect it to an email sequence. I'm going to show you how to do it. 100% beginners 101 tutorial for Systeme.io. If you don't have your Systeme.io account, you can go to affiliatefastpass.com. Can we get that to scroll on the bottom there, Cindy Branson?
Sure can.
So Cindy will do that, and I will show you where to go to get your free Systeme.io account. That's the beauty of Systeme.io. It's not a 14-day trial. It's not a 30-day trial. It's not a 7-day trial. It is 100% free if you want to use it to get started, get going, and they give you a lot of flexibility to build out your first thing, to start building your email list as you grow. They have very reasonable plans that you can gradually move up to as you grow your business, which is super, super cool. So she's got that going down there. And let me just share where you can go when you go to Affiliate FastPass. Can you share my screen for a second, Cindy? Thank you.
Yep, you're good to go, Chezar.
When you go to affiliatefastpass.com, if you're logged in or register, if you haven't registered for this, it's free right now as of this filming. It's March 2nd, 2023. You can just go right into here and click Systeme.io. You'll be joining our Systeme.io team, and you'll get all kinds of perks and bonuses along the way. If you're already logged in and you go into the system, into your Affiliate FastPass back office where we have funnels for Systeme.io and Builderall done for you, templates all ready to roll, but you want to try Systeme.io for free, you can click the big button up here too as well, right on top there. Okay, that was it.
Okie doke.
Awesome. So you want to, I know we just started out with this. This is going to be, we're changing our day to Thursday at 12 noon Eastern time. That's New York City time that we'll be doing Systeme.io training. There's just too many meetings in a row and too many other things going on. We were doing them on Wednesday, and I don't know, things just got, it was just too much. So this will help us out, spread things out a little bit. Do you want to say hello to some people here, Cindy Branson?
Oh, of course. Yes. Hello to Catherine and Linwood, who are both watching us on Facebook, our regular and faithful Affiliate FastPass members. And also we have Sharon and Nikki on YouTube. So hello to everybody. Thank you for coming in. Do our hashtag live if you're here with us, or hashtag replay if you're coming in afterwards. And always, no matter when you're watching, always feel free to ask questions, make comments, give us feedback. We love hearing from you guys and seeing how we're helping you or how we can help you. If you have a suggestion on something that you're needing to get trained on, we'd love to know.
Absolutely. So let's get into the Systeme.io back office. But first, oh, that's so much fun. All right. Let me go into Cindy's account. Okay. We sharing?
Oh, sorry. I was looking at my numbers go up. There you go. You're good to go, Chezar.
Okay. So once you come in here to your account, you'll be able to create a new account. Can you see that? Are we blocking this?
We're not blocking it. You can see it.
So we can create a new account, and then you're going to want to name your account. And you can change this. It doesn't really matter, but you want to name it. So we're just going to call this training demo 1. We'll do that. I have some domains connected on Cindy's account, so I can you would have a default because you probably don't have a domain set up yet, which is fine. You can use that default there. That'll probably be what pops up, but that's what that means. You can change that later, so don't worry about that. And then you have different options to build an audience, meaning you're going to collect an email address. But you pretty much always want to do, the money is in the list, guys, no matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you have an auto body shop. The money's in the list. If you're selling products, you can do a custom thing, just build everything from scratch. And then if you want to do an evergreen webinar, you would have to upgrade to a different plan for that. So we're just going to build an audience. That's pretty much the go-to, and a currency. So what we can do is I just X this out, and this gets a little tricky sometimes. Sometimes you just have to type in U dot. And if you hit the U dot US dollar, then you get this pop-up. You click on this pop-up again, and then it puts it in there. Sometimes it doesn't connect. If you're using Chrome, it'll automatically choose it. So you can see if I go here, whoops, let me type in here again. And this is where it gets weird. And sometimes it doesn't pick it, and then you got to go in there and change it because you're probably stuck on Euro. All right, that's it. Let's hit save. Super, super cool. Here's our funnel. All we have to do is click on our funnel over here. And we have
that, just do that again, Chris. I wasn't quick enough. I think they saw it.
Do what again?
On the left-hand side.
Do what again?
I had to move us over, so they might not have seen that very first step where you said click on your funnel.
Oh, okay. So this will be your funnel. If it's your first time going in here or second time, you probably only have one or two. We have quite a few in here. We got 15. So click on the name of your funnel, and that'll get you in. Now, a squeeze page is basically just that. It's you're getting information, or you're trading information. You're giving something usually away, video, ebook, anything you want, some sort of lead magnet, or it could just be information, which is technically a lead magnet. And then, so you're getting their email from them, and then you're driving them to like a bridge page to wherever you want to send them at that point. So now one of the things here, it's asking you to pick a template. Now, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, I don't really like templates, because if you try to mess with templates in these platforms, and pretty much all of the platforms, things can get really weird. And it's harder to fix things that break than it is when you try to customize a template. Things can get, like I said, it just may not work or look good in mobile, and then it's hard to fix. If you build things from scratch, it's a lot easier. But you can take a look. If you see a template that you really like and you're not going to change too much, I think you're in good shape. Like, there's some pretty good ones here you can just preview. We're going to build one from scratch. It's a lot easier for me. That's what I like doing. But this is a really super nice template. Like yeah, I would definitely use this. I'm sorry, Cindy?
I like that template.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I am famous for taking templates and customizing them. It is one of the ways I get started on a lot of websites.
Yeah, there you go. So, like, pick out your favorites. And if you like something and you feel like, you know what, I can work with this pretty much the way it is, or close to it, just change out my information. This is great if you're doing web design. This is great if you want to have a website for yourself and you say, hey, I really like this. I can fill in these blocks. You start deleting some of these, it could get a little weird, and then you're not going to be happy. And it's so hard to repair something that's broken. And that doesn't have to be Systeme.io. That could be any platform. Let's go into here. We're going to start from blank. And we're going to just build like a quick profile type of website. And then we'll build out like this one, something like this. So I'm not sure what you guys want, but I mean, we could just show you. It doesn't really matter which one we do, but this is actually a really good template that I've used, and it works. And it's already pretty much done. I just got to change out. You know, if you're giving an ebook away or a video, you can give your stuff out like that. But let's kind of play around with the builder on a blank page. That way we'll learn more about the tools itself. So I scroll down. I'm going to hit select on the blank page. And there's a couple of things here we want to do. What do we want to name this page? So we're just going to call this Meet Jane Doe Marketing Consultant. Okay. Anytime you make any changes here, you're going to want to hit the green thing. Can you see that, Cindy? Are we blocking that?
Yes, we are, Chris. Hold on. You're good. Sorry.
Hit save. And that's it. You definitely want to change the URL path. This is like the page name. And we can call this maybe Jane Doe opt-in. Let's just do that. Hit save. And you can change that before you start putting your link out there. Don't you want to be everything all done and ready to roll. So let's go into this page and edit this page. We can view this page. If you just hover over some of these things, that's your save, a view funnel step, edit, and change page template. Pretty simple stuff. Let's go into edit our page. And you might have to move us over to the other side now, the right-hand side of the screen.
Okay, you're good.
All right. So there's a couple of things that are going on here. You have all your elements over here. You have blocks. So blocks are like what I would call panels in other platforms. So you got features, you got all kinds of different stuff. So you can build out, say you're building your page and you're saying, you know what, I could really use something like this in here. I just click it once and it's in. And then you have all this done for you, which saves you a ton of time. They have quite a few different blocks in here that could be very useful for you to put together a website within 30 minutes to a half an hour. One of the other things I want to show you guys is if I go to settings up top here, and it says default typography, font type. What I want to do is, I don't like this font. It's too pointy for me. So I like to go in here, go to Google Fonts, and then there's, I think there's, I don't know if Veranda is a Google font. There's different fonts. You'll start realizing that there's fonts here that you're going to enjoy more so than others. Let me just type in.
Yeah, I love that it connects it to the Google Fonts, Chris, and it gives you such more variety that you can pull into without having to upload your own fonts.
Correct. So this is super cool because what this does is, you saw it change. I can change the fonts and it changes everything on the page. And this is like your global setting. So I like using pop-ins, which you just saw here, very straightforward, easy to read. Or what's the other one I use? I think it's called Rubik.
Yeah, I use Lotto a lot.
Rubik here. A little more blocky, but you get the idea. So I'm really liking pop-ins for this particular one. Nice and clean look, and we're good to go. Now, if you want, as you move along, you can hit save changes and things like that. It's always a good practice to always hit save. Now, there's a couple of things that are going on here. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a section. That's kind of like your canvas. Your row is like your elements. They'll hold elements. So think of them as like little file folders or file cabinets. And those will hold different elements, such as images, such as text, buttons, that kind of stuff. So you have sections. That's your panel. You have rows where you store your elements. And then you have elements, which will be orange. So rows are in blue, sections are green, and elements are like an orangey color. All right. Does that make sense? Is everybody good to go so far? So let's get rid of this section. I'm going to delete that, and we'll start from scratch. Are we good, Cindy?
We are good, Chris Cesar.
All right.
Good explanation on that.
Now, this is one of the things I've learned is to use columns, and this will really help you out with your spacing. So I'm going to just drag this 4 columns I like using, and I can make changes to this. What I can do is kind of, I'm like cheating. I'm giving myself margins on the page. Sometimes this one's a little hard to grab. You got to get it in there and move it over. There you go. So now this margin, if I just work on these 2 inner columns, I can keep my funnel or my website a little bit where it's not spreading out through the whole screen. And I'll show you the difference in a minute on that. So one of the things I have learned to use is these 4 columns, and it's a little cheat. So the other thing I want to do is let's do a picture here, and then I'm going to throw in some text over here. There's headline text and text in here. All right. So I kind of have a layout in mind that I want to go with. Now I want my headline above here. So this is for Jane Doe. Okay. She has a marketing company. We're pretending. Let's drop her image in here. I'm going to click on this image. Once I click on it, that means I'm editing it. So now you can see I'm editing the image over here. I've already uploaded Jane Doe. Maybe. Am I still here?
You are still there. I didn't see it in your.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Okay.
There you go.
That's really weird. Okay, there's Jane. And I want a headline up here. So I did prepare some stuff ahead of time, so I'm not making all this stuff up. And her headline is going to be Building Customer Relationships that Guarantee Lifetime Clients. Let me just grab that here and go to my editor. And now on this one, you can see I'm stuck editing this image. I can either click off it somewhere and then go back to my main elements panel where everything is. So on this one, I want a headline to go across, but not all the way across. So I'm going to pick the 3-column one, drop that. See where it's highlighting it? I can drop it right there. And now it's right on top. If I miss, I could drop it, let's say I put it down here by accident. I got click happy. No worries. Just move it back up or delete it and start over. Either way. Now here, I'm going to just give myself a little space, maybe make it a little smaller space on the edges. So it does go a little bit more. And we need to drop that text in. So I'm going to drop my text in. So this would be a headline text. Let's drop headline text in there.
Can I ask a question, Chris?
Sure.
So with the way you're doing the columns, I'm not noticing anything that gives you a safe zone.
No.
Does that mean that the entire canvas is a safe zone for Systeme?
I'm going to guess yes.
Okay.
This is a responsive. Anytime you're dealing, it's kind of like WordPress to a degree. You're dealing with columns or rows, columns, and it's gonna, compact depending on the screen size, as opposed to some other platforms. Well, mainly like Builderall is a perfect example because that's a whole different explanation. There's more flexibility with Builderall, let's say, but I think this is just fast and easy. Let's copy and paste my headline in here. I'm going to make it an H1, which you should always do with headlines. Have at least one H1 font. It's good for your SEO. But I can still come in here and mess with the font size right here. If I feel like the line spacing isn't right, I can pinch it a little bit over here, line height. These are things you can change. And this is what I love about building my own from scratch is I have a lot more control of what I want to do. I can also say we want to bold this. I'll highlight them all and then bold it. And I'm good to go there. That's looking pretty nice. I like the font on this one. Really good. All right. So basically we have one section that has all this stuff on it. We have a 3 rows up here with a little buffer. And we have 4 rows here with a little larger margin buffer on the left and right. You can do this with just 1 row and then play around with the margins, but I'm going to tell you guys, it gets this a lot faster. I'm going to save my changes and let's take a look what it looks like on full screen. So one thing with Systeme.io is because you have this left-hand control panel, if you hit this tab, your website's going to look completely different. See, now you're getting more of a real idea what it looks like. So all I have to do is hit settings again. It opens it up and you see how it's compressing the site. So you're not really getting a good representation as you're editing it. So make sure you save changes, hit the little eyeball, and you should get a pop-up. This is a preview mode. Don't use that URL. And this is a pretty good representation of what it would look like right now. Not too bad. We got some nice margins over here. Looks pretty good, right? I didn't have to go and edit a bunch of stuff on each individual element. Does that make sense?
It does, Chris, and I think it's looking great so far.
Yeah, thank you. So let's put a little profile blip in here about Jane. I'm sorry, Ms. Doe. I don't really know her that well. And we'll just come in here, Control A to select all. On Windows, it's Command A, and then Control on Windows, V as in victory, or Command V. And there you have it. It is centered text. So what I can do here is if I want it to the left or I want it to the right, we're editing text at this point. If anytime you're not editing it and you see all this and you really thought you were editing this, just click on it again. And now you'll be editing this text. We can make it a little bit larger if we want to, make our line height maybe a little bit, it was pretty good that way. So mess with your line height and letter spacing. If you want to spread it out to left and right, which I don't want to do. And there's text color, but you can do that here in this panel as well. And here's what I was talking about before, margin and padding. So if you need a little bit more space on top, I can do that here. So I don't like how her picture is lower than the text. So there's a couple different things I can do here. I can click on this text, go into margin, hit the little top of this box, and you'll see that it's clicking here. I can mess around here and drop it down with my margin there. If I didn't want to do that, put 0. If I click the full box, what I'm doing is putting a margin everywhere equally. But say I just want to do top and bottom, I would click on one of the bars, the top bar, the bottom bar, the right bar, or the left bar, and then I'll be adjusting that. You can see I'm moving it over toward the right-hand side, and you can play around with that. So that can be very beneficial as well. The other thing you can do is go back to the full elements, just click off somewhere or just hit settings. And I can throw maybe just a single row in. Gotta be careful with this. Almost like a spacer. Let's take a look at that. Save, hit my eyeball. Didn't really do a good job, but it did push it down a little bit. So let's go back to our editor and let's bring in another row. Now it really pushed it down. Save. And remember, because we have this panel out, we're not getting a good representation. Now it's a little bit better representation. Hit settings again. I get my settings back. Save. Hit my eyeball. Now you can see it's pushed down a little bit more. The problem with this little cheat that I'm showing you, you got to be careful with these rows. It's going to look like not good on mobile. So I would suggest deleting that. You can leave one row in if you want it to, but you're probably better off dealing with margins on this particular idea here. So we
Can
can
I
go to,
ask a
go ahead.
question on that? So in my mentality, I would probably just go to the M and meet and hit enter once or twice to create space above it that way. Is that something that would work?
You could try that. I haven't tested that.
Okay.
So I'm not super proficient in Systeme.io, but I've learned a lot in the last 2 weeks. Let's just take a look at our margins, take a look at that. And now it looks like the margin is a safer way to go to save you grief when you're trying to fix the mobile situation. Okay?
Yeah, I would agree.
So let's check mobile and just see how we're going so far. So we got some weird stuff going on here. And let's say you wanted this picture underneath here. Guess what, kids? Cannot be done unless you reverse them over here. So this picture would have to go on here, and this text would have to go on here. So you have to keep in mind that's what would have to be done. So let's try that scenario now for you. We'll drop in 4 rows, or actually we could duplicate this. Let's duplicate it right up here. We have a duplicated thing here, and let me just delete this. Delete that image, and then drop, or no, I'm sorry. Let's copy this and drag it down here. And then copy Jane and drop her over here. And then you can see now, I'll delete this original one and we can preview that. So that's a different look, but I meant to go to mobile down here. And now you can see the picture is underneath. That's the only way to do it if you're dealing with rows. Does that make sense?
It does, Chris. Yeah. I mean, it's something new to me to work that way, but it is very simple once you dig in here a little bit. It's working very seamlessly so far.
Yep. So I don't particularly care for this. So I'm going to duplicate my row again. Whoops. And I might be able to move her over. Let me see if I can grab her. Pop. And then shrink my screen a little bit and move this over here. There we go. So there's different ways you can play around with this. It really, truly is a very simple drag and drop system. Hit save and hit the eyeball. And now we're back to where we were. Okay. Pretty simple stuff. Easy peasy. Okay. The next thing we want to do, so we've kind of like made fake margins with these rows, and maybe we want to add another section here or whatever we want to do. We want an opt-in form at this point. Let's do that. So I'm going to put in, we'll put in another section here. Oops, no. My bad. We're just going to do rows. Section is basically a panel. So, I mean, I guess we could do that. We could drop this in a section, and then it already puts a row in there. So we can bring in a 4 column on this one. Drop it right in here. And then we can, looks like we put another section in. So we can just delete that other one. And actually, you know what? I'm going to duplicate this just to give us some breathing room. And then in here, let's just make a little bit of a margin here. Whoops. And I'll show you how to make like a content box. I always have trouble grabbing this one on the right-hand side. I don't know why. So I want to say there's flexibility, but there's limited flexibility. Let's put it that way. So let's put a content box in. What a content box is, just like it's a little box that I have a little bit more control over. So let me drop that into this row. And on this one, say Jane is giving away some sort of free something or other. Let's drop an image in here. So drop an image. And I'm going to change this image. I just click on it. I'm editing this image file, upload. Why am I? Oh, there's my images now. Let's say she's giving away this ebook here. I don't have anything. It doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. All right, cool. Now, here on this content box, there's a title up here. You may not want that. Maybe you just want like a colored box, something with a little flavor to it. So what I can do is click on this box to edit this box. Now I got the elements again. I want to click on it again. And then right here, it says header visibility. I can turn that off. And now that header is gone. But I'm still editing this content box right here, content box. I can change the background color. I don't know if they have, let's just do something like a light blue. And now you can see we're changing that. We can change the opacity a little bit so it's not like totally in your face. But I mean, you can play around with this. I wish they had a gradient though. I'm not sure if they have gradient that I'm aware of. That would be nice. So that's good. So now what we need to do is put some text in there. So we can go hit the back arrow, drop some text. And we could put, let's see.
Okay, I realize we're being quiet here for a little bit while you manage that.
All right. And then we can change this font here. See, we're editing the text now that's inside that container. So we can change our text here a little bigger, change our line height, looks a little too large. And then we can go in here and highlight everything and hit the bold, and boom, hit bold. And then we have a little call to action here. And then we might even want to add some more text. That's good. And I think I want to take free. We're not doing web design today. We're just doing just to understand the builder a little bit. And then what we can do is we can put a border around this content box. So we're editing the content box again. Let's say we want to put like a little bit of a solid border. I go to border. I can put a shadow on this. I do whatever I want. Just get in there and get the black. Good. And then down here, you have full border, bottom only, top only. So yeah, you could do something there too. Top and bottom, top only. Yeah, I wish it doesn't have left or right. That'd be kind of cool. And then maybe we can put a 2 border on it, and we have a nice little border there. And we can fix the size of this. Don't worry about that right now. Now what we want to do is we want to get their email, right? So we're going to add a form input. drop that under download, and it's saying warning. You might not be able to read that. It says warning, input type not set. What that means is, what are we collecting? It just has an empty space. So I'm editing this form input. Got to click it again and select type. What do I want? Email, first name, phone number, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to hit email on this one, and then I can change what it says on the placeholder. I'll just put good. And then we need a button. So we can change all the colors. You can look around at this stuff. It's pretty easy stuff. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward. If that's too gray, maybe you want to put a border around the box. You can do all that kind of stuff. But for now, we want to go back to our settings. Whoops, I'm sorry. Elements here. And we need to add a button now. Boom. There's our button. Now, I'm not a big fan of subtext on buttons, so I'm going to click on this button. And I'm going to take that subtext out. It's hard. I always have a hard time finding the subtext. It's down here. And I just delete that. And that subtext is gone. All right. Now, where do we want this button to go? What do we want this to do? They put their email. What do we want the button to do? What action is this button taking or going to take? So what I do is make sure I'm editing the button, and unless you're doing a pop-up or a download, you basically, if you're collecting an email, it's defaulted to send form. So it's sending the form to your Systeme.io back office, okay? So you want to make sure you do that, and you want to make sure go to the next step, or you can have them go to a custom URL where it collects their information and then sends them to an affiliate offer or something like that. But in this case, we want to send them to the next step. Good to go. Pretty simple, right? We good?
We are good, Chris. Yeah, I really like the content box. I like how that's working. It looks great, and it's easy to use.
Yeah,
Turn things
absolutely.
on and off.
Absolutely. So let's go back to this content box because it's just too small. And let's see what we can do with this content box. So make sure you're editing the box. Maybe we can adjust to the left and right here. Not doing a whole lot there. So, I'm not really liking what's happening here. So I think what we could do in this case is, let's see, left and right padding. Whoa. Definitely don't want that. Okay. What we could do here in this case is move this picture over a tad. I'm going to do it this way. And there I'm kind of giving myself some more room here. Let's just kind of take a look at this and see what's happening. Save changes. And there we go. So maybe I want to put a checklist of what they're going to learn in this particular ebook that they're getting. And we can do that. Now, just as a web design type of thing, I wouldn't want to have two pictures. I would want to have this picture on the opposite side. Does that make sense?
It does, Chris. Yeah, the balance of the page.
Correct. Yeah, this looks kind of crappy. But
we're not designing for the purpose of being a designer today. It's really just to show everybody the tools, get you used to where to look for them, what you can just simply turn on and off, and scale what changes uniformly, things like that, which you're doing a great job of explaining. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. So what I'm going to do is drop in like a bullet list, and I'll drop that in here. And then this will give us a little bit more room of what they're going to learn in this particular thing. So you have some options there to do that.
Yeah, I really love the content box. I got to tell you, I love that you put it together and then you can scale it together.
Yep. So in this case, maybe this download it free is not a good enough call to action. So maybe I'll bold this, and maybe I'll edit this box kind of make this actually even bigger, something like that. Maybe I want to change free to a different color. I can highlight free and go into this invisible little box. Looks like a number 5 dice. And I can go in here and pick my red, make sure the opacity or transparency slider is all the way up. And then you can see we have a little bit more stuff going on, a little bit more color going on. All right. In this case, because I don't like, this is going to drive me insane, I'm going to move Jane on this side here and move my text. Oop, I can't get it. Hold on. I got to shrink my screen.
And for anybody that doesn't know Chris, or, it's an artistic way of looking at things, is you never want a person's face or body language to take you off the page. So you always want them facing the text that they need to read, get their eye to follow the body language to what you want them to do.
Yeah, true. And she's a difficult subject here because she could go on either side, because her head is leaning toward the text if she's on the opposite side. So she's kind of directing you with her body. She's leaning against her text. So usually people aren't leaning like this. You're pretty much standing sideways and facing a certain way. We wouldn't have her facing off a screen. It wouldn't make sense. But anyway, that's looking pretty good. Let's take a look and kind of see where we're at. All right, so we're going in a good direction. So maybe we could put like a little arrow in here or something like that. So what I can do is drop an image. And let's drop an image over here underneath this text. And we'll bring in an arrow. Let me edit this text and see what we can do. I think I have an arrow in here. Yeah. Okay, that's super jumbo. No worries. Let's click on this image again, and we can change the image size. And maybe we can do something like that. We can move the padding over and things like that. I can maybe left alignment on it, something like that. Center it, mess with the padding. Or the left-hand side here. And you can see I can go negative numbers too and move it over, as well as positive numbers. So whatever way you want to do that, I'll just leave it at 0 for now. Whoops. 0.
Well, I think the other thing to take in consideration is, can you flip it and so forth? Like, because it's PNG.
No.
So you don't want the PNG to be like a giant square, but the arrow just being in the middle. So if you're doing something in Canva, you can correct it within Canva so that the image is long and narrow.
I don't think that I can flip it, but if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments.
Okay.
Let's hit save. Let's hit preview. There's a little arrow. It's too close to here. Maybe we should give it a little bit more space. So I'll click on the image twice here and maybe give it a little padding from the top on the margin. And we'll drop it down a little bit. Maybe even make it a little smaller. It's not the right arrow to be using, in all honesty, but we get the idea of things we can do. Hit save. And there, we could have different things. Let's try it on the other side. I don't want to get hung up on this thing, but let's try it. So I'm still editing my image. I can go to over here on my alignment and put it over here, save changes. You get the idea of different things that you can do. Okay? Are we good? Cindy?
Yeah. We're good. I'm sorry. I said I was going to step away for 1 minute. I thought you were going to take longer. I'll be right back. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I'll be right back.
All right, so that's that. You can see we have, it's not the greatest looking website, but it's actually not too bad. Take this off here, and we have something that's looking pretty decent. We have good margins. We really didn't have to play around with anything. And we could make this a little bit bigger if you want it to, but you can see the flexibility that you have. Although it's minimal, it's very blocky, but there is a lot of flexibility here for you. Okay, let's go back into the editor. There are some other things that we can do here. If we go to settings, let's pretend that our page is done. Make sure you save, and we'll go to settings. In the settings thing, we change the font. Now you can change the font individually on this if you want it to. Like say we wanted this to be a completely different font, then we want to override our master settings. We should be able to change the font here because it's saying same font as the page. So if you wanted to, you could get a little bit crazy and you could select a completely, different font, and that shouldn't affect anything else. It's just that particular font if you wanted to change it. So you're not stuck on anything. We're going to go with font type on this and just go same font as the page. And that way, I like keeping things congruent. If you start messing around with fonts too much, it becomes unpleasant to your prospect's eyes. And that's the last thing you want. You just want to give a little bit of information and try to get a phone call, try to get a phone number, or so you can SMS text them, or you want to try to get your email and build your list that way. You always want to have some sort of call to action on here, some way, somehow. Websites are nice, but you want to try to get people on a list so you can engage with them. Because if you don't, what a website does and you don't collect information, they're there, something happens, or they just get bored and they X out of it, they're never going to find your website again. Try to give something away to get information, get their email, get their phone number, so you can start building a relationship with them, no matter what you do. All right, that's that. Let's go into mobile and see what's happening in mobile. So I'm going to go down to the bottom left-hand side of the screen. Done. Hate the arrow on mobile and not liking some of this stuff that's going on. And that's what I'm talking about. Looks like we have some extra rows in here. Yeah, there's our spacer row. So you can see that row is kind of interfering. That spacer row is interfering with our mobile. So that's a problem. So that's where it might be better off going with the margins, if that makes sense. So if I delete this extra row in here, I can't. So that is a particular problem. So image, if you scroll down here, and I don't want this on mobile, item visible on mobile, we can hit that and it disappears on mobile down here. So, that arrow looked hideous on mobile. Obviously, you can change the size of your pictures and things like that as well on its image size on mobile, and we can change it on mobile only. Same thing, click off it, scroll up. Jane's a little bit, image size a little too large. We can just make that a little bit smaller and things like that. So you can see where my cheat for mobile is kind of interfering with my site. So it's fine here. It gives me enough space here on my 4 row on the second panel, but it's looking bad here. So we need to fix that. So that's why you got to check and test everything. Oh, and if you didn't want the Systeme thing here, you can take that off on the page here. I'll show you how to do that. So let's go to settings. And if you go to settings, and you can just unclick affiliation. Boom. But if you leave that up there, somebody likes your site and you're an affiliate, obviously everybody's an affiliate. Even free plans can be an affiliate for Systeme. If they click on that, that's your affiliate link. So it's kind of cool. It's up to you if you want to leave it on or off. I'll just leave it off for now. Let's hit save changes. And we're having a problem with this row up here. So this row is kind of screwing things up on mobile. So, and that's why we learn. That's why we test. This is what we do. So let's just put a row in here, a single row. I'll drop it on the bottom here. Boom, right here. drag this text into that row, get rid of this 3-column row, and let's see how that looks. Save. You see how it's spreading out a little bit too much? Maybe we want to mess with our margins or padding. Let's go take a look at that, see if we can squeeze that in a little bit. So it looks great here. But let's take a look on mobile and see. Yeah, see how what it's doing, it's taking those extra padding rows, and on mobile, it's stacking them. Instead of horizontal, it's doing those spaces vertical. And it was too many spaces. So you kind of get the idea. And let's say I want to come in here, and then I want to stop messing. Let's see what padding does. We'll do the left side. Oops, that's doing the top. Oh, that's doing the bottom. My bad. Left side. And it's pulling the padding over here. And we can just go in here, double click it, and make it 50. And then we want to take the left-hand side, the right-hand side, sorry, and we'll put 50 in there and see what that does. Nothing. Let's try -50. Let's see if that does anything. Nope. So not liking the padding. Didn't like where, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was padding. Let's make that 0, padding 0, padding 0. Let's try our margins and see what that does. Our right margin, let's change it to 100. And then let's change the left-hand side. That's on this side. Let's change that to 100 and see what that looks like. There we go. So it looks like you're better off using the margins at times. So it's kind of like I was cheating by putting the 4 rows in. But like for the headline and stuff, you just got to like play around and see what's best for you, especially when it comes down to mobile. Let's take a look at that. And still looks good here. Say this font is too big on mobile. We can click on it. And then we have, it's got a little mobile phone. I like using the arrows. And there, maybe that's a little bit better on mobile. All right. Are you back, Cindy?
Yeah, I'm here, Chris. Yeah, I've been
All right,
back.
so
Sorry.
That's a brief explanation on how to set up stuff, the different elements that you have. We don't need this row anymore, so we can get rid of that row because we just left it for kind of some spacing there. What's really super cool about this, say I just really loved this section, or maybe I love this row. I can save these as a template for myself.
Nice. I love that.
Let's go. I'll go to my section, and sometimes it gets a little persnickety. It's a little save thing here. It's a little like disk. It's save, and we can call this demo box. And what do we call this? Element, right? No, not element.
A content
what's
box?
What's the name of the panel? I'm so used to working in Builderall that I call it a panel. I forget what it's called.
The canvas, the rows.
Yeah, it's not canvas, but it's fine.
Block?
Could be, yeah. So, okay, we saved it here. We titled it. Now, do you want to create a master block? Like that would be on, you're saving something, but you got to be careful with that because if you use it on a different website and you make an edit on this thing, it'll change it everywhere it is. So you got to be careful with doing a master block. Master block is like, especially it's good for a footer or something like that, where you commonly use the same footer on all your sites. You could do that, make a change, and it'll change it on everything. So let's hit create. Now, let's say we wanted that. We just have to go to blocks, go to my blocks, or in your case, it'd be your blocks. You can see I already have some buttons, some stuff here, and there it is here. Now, a section. So it's not a panel, it's called a section. So if it's a section, I just click on it once and it'll drop the whole thing in. And you can see that's how easy it is to save something. You can do the same thing with an image. Just hit the little save thing. You can do the same thing with this content box. If you didn't want to save the whole thing, you just love your design, you can kind of hover where it comes to content box. You got to grab it. It gets weird. And then you can save the content box. And that's where it gets a little funny. You got to really get in there and slide your way into that thing. And then you can save this instead. So there's a lot of opportunities there. And when you're creating your stuff, to save stuff that you really like and you think you're going to use very often. Let me go to my blocks here, and then we're going to connect this to an email sequence. I should have a footer. Yeah, here's AFP footer master. It's a section. If it's an element, I would want to drag it in. If it's a section, I click it once and it drops it there on the bottom. And now I have my footer. Pretty cool stuff. I'm going to delete this section. And now you have a website that is pretty much done if you wanted it to be. Pretty easy stuff, right?
It is, Chris. It really is.
Okay, so now what do we do?
The names of the different parts straight, but visually I have it. It's just knowing the different names, like, the section versus the block versus
section,
the
rows. Elements are orange. Row is blue. Section is like the whole. If I delete this section, everything would be gone in that section, the whole bit. They do have an undo button, so that is a good thing. But be careful with that too. It can mess things up. Okay, we're done with that. Let's hit save. Let's check out our next page, our thank you page. Here, same thing. We need to pick something out. In this case, let's just find something super, super simple. Instead of building something out, I'll just pick something. This one's pretty good, pretty straightforward. I don't like picking stuff with backgrounds because it can really mess you up. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's do this. Let's pick. It's not allowing us to pick anything blank. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, I didn't realize that. All right, so I got to pick something here. So I'm going to pick the simplest one. Got it. Going to name this download. And that's fine. And hit save. Let's go edit this page real quick. Now we know how to edit this stuff. It's not so hard. So let's just say we'll leave this at that. If you didn't like this kind of stuff here, you can delete this row. Then you just have that. You could put a video in here explaining some things. Let's just drop a video right in here. Boom, there you go. And then you can explain stuff and have your buttons and then have your download here. So let's say this is for the Facebook community. So all you got to do is click on this button and then it'll say open URL. I could have my file there. If I didn't want them to go to the email, I could have my ebook right in here itself. Or I could show a pop-up. And all that kind of stuff. But let's say we're going to just open URL and open in same window or new window, pretty standard stuff there. And we just have to send them to where we want to send them. So, but you can edit all this stuff, change the fonts, change everything that you want to do. But let's pretend it's done because that's not really that important right now. All right. So make sure you hit save, and then up here you can exit. That's it. So what happens when they opt in? We didn't do anything, right? So in Systeme.io, they don't have your traditional like lists that you connect a subscriber to a particular list. They connect, you can just tell it where you want them to go. So one of the things we can do is we want to connect them to an email sequence, but we haven't created an email sequence. So let's do that. Let's go to emails, go to campaigns, and newsletters are like one-offs. So you're going to send a newsletter every week, and campaigns are a little bit different. So newsletters could be like a broadcast email. Campaigns is more, you're going to put them in a sequence, which we highly recommend. So when I'm in here, I'm just going to hit create email sequence, and we're just going to call it Jane Doe. And description is not necessary, but it's fine. We'll put it in anyway. That's it. Hit save. Guess what, guys? I just created my email sequence. All right. There's no emails in here yet, but that's okay. Let's go back to our funnels. And if you want to do this, just right click. I'm sorry, click here. Whoops, my bad. Let's go back to campaigns. A lot of people don't know this. Right click on the funnels and then open link in new tab. And that way you're not going back and forth. And then you can drag your tab where it needs to be. And that way you can go easily over to the emails and over to funnels instead of, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It does, Chris. Yeah.
Let's click on training, our Jane Doe training demo. And I'm in my first page where I'm collecting the email. I need to set up an automation rule. When they give me their email, where do they go? So I clicked on automation rules. Can you see add rule here? Are we blocking that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, we are. I'm not very quick on getting that drop-down menu out. All right, there, finally, I got us free.
Add rule. What do we want to do? Funnel step from form subscribed. Or we could do some statistical stuff, but with the free count, you got to be careful with how many you add because you only get so many on the free account. So right now, we want to get them to an email list. So I created my automation rule. Now I need to add what action are we going to take? Let's add the action. In this case, we want to subscribe them to a campaign. So I have that. Now, what campaign do we want to send them to? That's why we had to create our campaign. I click on the down arrow, and you can see down here, we want the Jane Doe. We want this connected to Jane Doe. Great. Save rule. Good to go. Well, the only thing is, I think I want to put a tag on these guys. And that way, if I ever want to email people, I kind of want to remember where they came from. So maybe if I'm doing different niches, that I know all these people with this particular tag on them, I can do a broadcast email and choose the people with a particular tag on them. Say I want to send out a weekly newsletter or an email every other day or whatever. Let's go add a tag. So let's add this rule. Sorry, let's click on the funnel step, add action, and we're going to add a tag. And I'm going to hit the down arrow, and there's different tags that we already have in here, but nothing about Jane Doe. Well, that's a problem. Let's go into contacts, hover over tags. I'll right click, open link in new tab. And now I'm over here and I can, in my tags area, and I can create a new tag. Create. I'm just going to call this Jane, and it doesn't have to be capitalized. I just do that. I'm so used to doing that with other systems. It's fine. And you can have a space. It's fine. Jane Doe. Okay. So you can see I have some tags here. 11 people have this tag today. Like total subscribed. This tag has 352 people with this tag. So if I want to email those 352 people, I can email the people with the freedom tag. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome. So let's go back to
Go and teach.
Okay, so remember we added an action to our rule here. So we had add tag. Let's see if we have to refresh our browser. Looks like we do. So let's X that out. I don't know if I have to refresh. Let's just hit save rule and we'll try it again. Funnel step, add action, add tag, choose tag. There she is, Jane Doe. I saw it. There it is. Good. So anybody who opts into this will get a tag with Jane Doe. That means we know where they came from when you start building more websites and sales funnels. And there's a lot more you can play around with this, but that's the basics that I would do to really, truly get started. And that's done. That funnel step is done. So let's go get an email sequence or some emails connected to this thing. So what I did is just for fun in Chat GPT, I just typed in write a 3 email sequence on how to make money online as a side hustle. It has nothing to do with Jane Doe, but I got 3 emails and I'm just going to use them verbatim and I'll show you how easy that is. So let's go to Systeme.io. At this point, we can just go to we don't need that either. Let's go to emails, campaigns. Click on Jane Doe over on the left-hand side. And then we're going to add our first email. What's our sender name? What's our sender email address? It's definitely, I advise connecting a professional or a business domain, not like a Gmail account. You know, you're going to hit the inbox a lot easier. One of the things you want to do is go to the classic editor. Everybody tells you not to use these two. I don't know why, but you want, especially if you're new, the less pictures and fancy stuff you have on there, the better you're going to land in the inbox. So we definitely need, it's asking us for a subject line. So let's go to here and paste, classic editor, create. Then we just got to do the body. Let me move this over so it's closer. And then boom. And the reason I'm doing this because I had a little problem with this, and that's why I want to show this. Oh, so it's not letting me right click and paste. I have to Control V or Command V on a Mac. Boom, it's in. Now, this is wrong. If you want their name, the tag for their first name that they put in, we didn't collect the first name, so it's okay. But if you are collecting a first name, you want to change this variable out, and you can hit substitute variable. Hold on, I'm getting a text. All right, Cindy got booted out, looks like. So I would pick my substitute variable, first name, and hit OK. And then I have the correct tags. Let me see if I'm still going. Looks like I am. And OK, so Cindy should be back in a moment. And I also want to unbold all this here. You don't need, bold is not your friend. And then you would just put your name here. Or this is Jane Doe. Good. You have all your variables over here as well. And that's just pulling in a tag. And if there is no first name, it shouldn't say anything. So we could just put, we wouldn't put dear, maybe we put hello. Something like that. All right, that's email 1. We're going to hit save and publish on that. And then delay before sending email. You can do, depends on what you want to do. I'm going to just have it immediate. So I'm going to put 0 and then hit publish. And we have our first email. Let's add a second email. This is where it gets weird. Add another email. Let's do that. Classic editor, subject line, email 2, email 3. We'll just copy that. Almost done, guys. And
Yeah, I don't know what happened, Chris. I got booted out and I had to come back in. So I don't know if you
no
missed
worries.
me or not.
Got my subject line in here, create. And we'll just put, instead of copy and pasting, this is email 2. All right, good enough. And save and publish. Now this is where it gets funky. I've tried doing this where the first one was 0 minutes, the next one was maybe an hour later, or maybe the next one is a day later. But when do I want that? That could be fine. I think it should work like this. I think I'm doing something wrong on here. So a safe way to do it, it wasn't working when I did this the other day. My goodness, phone 3 times that phone rang. What I want to do is select what email do I want this to come after. And then I can pick this here, how to make money online as a side hustle. So after that first email is delivered, I want the second email to be delivered after the first one. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Time when email should be sent. I mean, you can mess around with this. This is based on your time that you set up inside the settings, days of the week, things like that. But that's pretty much. So you're picking what email is 1 day after this email. Publish. Boom. If you don't pick that, it wasn't working. Maybe it's a glitch. I don't know, but I had a problem. Let's just add a third one, and I'll show you basically what to do there. So let's add a third one just so you guys know what I'm talking about here. Classic editor. Go back to my thing. We'll just grab so it's easier to see the subject lines. Copy. Paste. Good. Create. And we'll just put email 3. Hit save and publish. And this one will be 1 day after the last one. Which one was that? How to make money as a freelancer. Let's see if it puts them in order. Yes, it does. So after the last one here. So that'll be 1 day after that email.
And what's good about doing that, Chris, if correct me if I'm wrong, but if they came in and subscribed and got on your list at a certain time of day, that is typically when they're online. So if you're sending them at that same time, approximately, more than likely they'll open it when they get it and not have to sift through a bunch of emails to find it. Right?
Well, yeah, if they opted in at 8 p.m. their time, that's when pretty much their emails are going to be delivered. If it's 1 day after another.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, what I don't like about this, say you have 30 emails here, and then what happens if you change the headline? So you got to kind of play around with these things here, but this should get your emails delivered in the order that you want them. So if I put this one as 2 days, the way we have it set up, it would deliver 2 days after this email. So we don't want that. I mean, you could. I mean, it's completely up to you how your sequence is set up. But that's truly the best and safest way to do it. So hopefully that was helpful there. So basically all we got to do now is I'll go to funnels and let's test her out. Let's click on training demo, or let's see what I can do here. I guess I could hit view. Yep, there we go. Let's drop in an email here. This one. Click here. Takes me to the thank you page. And go to the Facebook. I would want to say, go check your email for this amazing thing. And a lot of times what we do is we offer them an extra bonus. If you go now between the next 10 minutes, I'm sending you, and reply done, I'll send you an extra bonus. That's always a good way to get people to go check their email. Very important to explain all that. But that's another training for another day. So basically, I have to go to Organic Roost. Can you stop sharing my screen?
Sure, Chris.
Good.
Yeah, we're good now. Thanks for giving me that extra 3 seconds.
All right. So yeah, just a reminder, guys, I can't see when I'm sharing, I can't see Cindy, so I don't know if we're good or not. All right, let me go to Organic Roost. And nothing came in yet. So we just have to wait a few minutes, but we're not sharing right now. I'll keep an eye on that. Is there any questions or any things that you guys want me to go over? It's pretty straightforward. I got to tell you, Cindy, and we talk about this with other platforms that we use. The more you go in there, the better you're going to understand things. If you go in there once a week or once every 3 weeks, it's almost like you're starting all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping for
I
more.
hear that, Chris, because I've done that before with building websites. Yeah, I feel like I'm breezing and cruising and doing everything fantastic, efficient, and wonderful. And then I don't build a website for a month. And then I go back in there and I'm a clunky as clunky can be. I mean, I know what I can do, but it's remembering how to do it and where to find everything. So it is important to, even if it's 10 or 15 minutes a day or every other day, to get in there and be using it to get train your brain, to train your hand, to know where it needs to click and things like that. Yeah, and Catherine, thank you very much. She gives you accolades for explaining everything very well. And she mentioned when we were talking about the templates that she likes the ones that are simple without a lot of stuff in them, which are typically your landing and opt-in pages. And that's a great start with that. They already have the forms connected. And Alvin, thank you, Alvin, for joining us on YouTube. His comment is, need to please set up sales funnel for a physical product. So that'll be something else to do another day. But yeah, that's to be on the list. Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. So we can maybe we can even do a template on that too for you guys inside Affiliate FastPass. Give you a nice little template on that, Alvin. So this is I really like this. I like Systeme.io. I do. I got mad at it at first because I was using templates, and anytime I tried to mess with the templates, it screwed it all up on mobile. And I was like, oh my gosh, and I couldn't fix it. So that's why I think starting with a blank slate is to just practice. So take a website that you see and then try to duplicate that website. If you have two screens, it's even better. So you can look over here, on the screen that you want to try to copy and build it together inside. And if you build something from scratch, you just have a little bit more understanding of what things can and can't do. And that, I think, will help you when you start using, if you want to use some of their templates, which are very good, by the way, then you'll be able to know how to edit those templates without completely screwing it up. So that's the thing. Let me check Organic Roost here.
And just a little tip for anybody who doesn't have the dual monitors. Like me, I have not had a second monitor in quite some time, but I have a small TV with an HDMI cord I connect, and it works great as a second monitor. It's not going to do great on audio things, but for the purpose of building and being able to look at two screens, it's fantastic. So don't forget that option if you're in the building phase and you just need that second screen for when you're building. It's a good thing to do.
All right, so my email hasn't come in yet. So I'm pretty much a newer user sometimes, especially if you're brand new, it's your first email. Systeme.io is going to be very strict. They're going to actually look at your email and make sure it's not spam. That's number one. So I should be beyond that point because I've sent easily over 500 emails already. Yeah, I'm probably getting close to 1,000 emails now. So I've passed all the tests so far. But you'll see a little orange bar come up saying, hey, look, we're checking your email and we're protecting the users of Systeme.io. There's going to be a delay until we approve your email to be sent. So it's your first time sending out emails, and they do it every 100 every 100 emails, they put a freeze on your account, make sure everything is cool, and then move on to your next 100 until you get to like 500, I think. And then they stop doing it. I forget. They tell you, they guide you. They have little pop-ups come along and guide you of what's going on in your account all the time.
Yeah,
So
their communication is excellent. I give them brownie points for that without a doubt.
Yep. And their support's pretty good too. They do answer. It's not immediate, but you'll get an answer in quick amount of time, usually a couple hours. So you can share my screen for a second.
All right, you're good to go.
So if you're joining late and we were putting a funnel together, or basically a very simple funnel inside Systeme.io, you can have a free account for life with Systeme.io. So that's super, super cool. If you want to check it out, if you use another platform right now and you just kind of want to play around, the beauty of this is it's free. You can use it. I mean, you can pay for it as you grow your business, but you can start out and really play around with this thing 100%, pretty much all the bells and whistles other than the evergreen webinar part. And you get to really check this thing out. So you just go to affiliatefastpass.com, click on Systeme.io, join Cindy Branson's and my team. We have a combined team on Systeme.io. Or if you register here, we do have some templates, some Systeme.io templates. You'll have 52 Systeme.io templates in here by the end of 2023. I don't know how many we just started with Systeme.io. We have a lot of Builderall ones here, but all these on top have Systeme.io funnels here. So super, super cool. And you can see that you can just have this funnel right into your account, use it as is, or use it just change out the picture, change out the text, and you have very simple formula already done for you. So we'll do that. We'll get more advanced stuff as well. Here you go, Systeme.io download. It goes right into your account as long as you're logged in. If you're already registered Affiliate FastPass and you're automatically going to this page and you want to check out Systeme.io for free, boom. It's not even checking it out. It's get it for free. And as you need it to grow, you can grow. But you can get it right here if you're already inside Affiliate FastPass. That's it. You can stop sharing.
Okie doke.
All right, guys. That's all I got. Hopefully this was helpful. It sounds like it was. I know we don't have a whole lot of people, but I'm sure we'll get some people on replay. Make sure you hit hashtag live inside the comments for others to check this out. Hashtag replay for others to hit a replay wherever they're watching. And if you're on our YouTube channel, guys, then that's so much fun. That's all I got.
And Linwood, I saw your situation. See if we can get that resolved right after this video.
Sounds great. All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon and have a great weekend.
Bye, everybody.
See you guys. Thank you.